Hello, everybody. Give me a sec. I'm trying to squeeze in here. Let me lift you guys up just a little bit. I don't think you guys are going to be able to see me. Okay. Anyway, I, I had to come up. I'm still too low. Give me a second. Okay. I think we're good now. Anyway, hi. Welcome to Tea Time Tuesday. Oh my God. Just listening to Lisa. She's a trip. And she's doing all this uh going into the court and doing the whole DD trial and everything that she does is just she just makes me laugh. Anyway, welcome. Thank you for joining me for a cup of tea this afternoon. Yeah, I kind of was trying to do a lot of things this morning. This is your first time here. My name is Emma, and once a week I like to be able to come on here and drink a cup of tea with you guys and talk about my book that I'm reading. Finally got out of the Korean Dolly. That one took me a long time to read, but I already did read quite a few chapters. I'm like, hold on, I just don't want pages to fall. I already read all of this. I have to read all of that. So right now we are having some orange and spice tea. Now the reason I'm over here is because my son is sleeping. I don't want to disturb him. So and I tend to I talk loud. So I said, you know what? I haven't been on this side for a while, so let me just come over here. No, I didn't put the tea bag in the thing because I don't have time for that. I have to hurry up, do this, and then I have to try to make spaghetti and get ready for the kids when they come out of school. And this is their last week, so I'm sorry, I just keep thinking about this girl. And so we're gonna let that steep for a while so I can talk to you about what I am eating here and what I plan to read from the book. Okay, so right now, like I said, we are on an update. So this is the book is called The High Tide Club, and I had to write a few notes here, you know, to keep you guys to know who I'm talking about. So we are talking about Josephine Warwick. We're talking about Farrah Miles, and she's the one she's Brooke. Brooke is the main character. Her name is Brooke Trapnell. She's an attorney, and Farrah Miles is her secretary or helper or assistant. And Millie, Verena, Ruth, and Josephine. Millie, Ruth, wait a minute. Millie, Josephine, Ruth. Did I say Millie? I'm missing one. I think I have it here. Hold on. Okay, so it's Millie, Ruth, Verena. I'm missing one girl. I already said Ruth because there's 4 of them. And it wasn't Kesley. Millie, Ruth. Okay, but it's in the book. I know I have them in here somewhere. I'll tell you who they are. Anyway, so it's about them. Obviously, a murder happened, and we're trying to figure out who the person that they found in the beginning of the book, and they, you know, evidently they buried him, or they tried to get him out of the way. And so Brooke doesn't say, and she's trying to kind of like help these girls out because everything took place in 1941, except that now as time went on and everybody has gotten older, and I think Ruth passed away, and now they're she's trying to make amends for whatever happened um, in the past. I just don't see why I have only. I know there were 4 girls. It was Millie, Ruth, and Verena, and Josephine. Okay, there's the 4. I don't know what I was doing. Anyway, so I'm gonna talk to you about what's going on with them. And I did get a spoon this time because, like I said, every time I get a spoon and let this steep for a while, I always do this. I always wrap it around the tea bag and I just squeeze. I don't know if you guys ever, but it's that easy. I'm just gonna put this on the side right here. And I did bring my sugar just in case, knowing me, I have to run and go to the other side and go with it. I'm gonna put a little bit more water. I don't think I have enough water here. Okay, hope I don't burn myself. And I'm gonna put this up here for now. And we are also having, I'm gonna put this back in here. I know this table's small. I have more room in the kitchen. So let me just stir this a little bit. And I did make something. I still have to make the lemon meringue pie. I haven't done that yet. I should have bought a napkin, but I didn't. And so I just made a little something to go along with the tea because evidently I had made this and everybody liked it. They were like, oh, that is so good. Where'd you get it? Where'd you buy it? And I was like, I got it from Aldi. But, okay, so this is what I bought. And it's called, oh, no wonder it had that pudding, kind of like pudding, what do you call it? What is that called? Texture. It had that pudding texture in there. And I said, okay, let me try this. Just something quick. My grandson wanted some cheesecake and they didn't have any. So I went to the baking aisle and I said, well, let me see what they have. And they had this, and it was the Jello Classic Cheesecake. And it's so funny because I had bought a pie crust that didn't come with this. I bought it separately. And it's so funny because in the back of the pie crust, in kind of like a circle page, it has a recipe of how to make this. And I was like, oh, cool. So I said, let me make it real quick. And then I have some blueberries that I had bought. So I put some blueberries on top. And this is how it looks like. This is how it came out. I love blueberries. I can eat blueberries with anything. And my table's a little bit dingy, but you know. Okay, well, let me take a sip of this tea real quick first, and then I'm gonna get going on the book because that's gonna take a minute. This was nice and hot this time. Every time I drink my tea, it's always lukewarm or something. Anyway, so I did make some notes because I said, let me make some notes I can, you know, tell you guys what this is about. I'm going to drag this up a little bit up here. Oops, I don't drop anything. So, again, oh, that's wet. I had started out on, I think it was Oyster Bluff. Okay, so Felicia Shedick is the niece of Verena. Now, Verena was one of the girls from the High Tide Club, and all of them would go to this beach, Mermaid Beach, and they would go out there and have fun. I mean, 1941, what else did you have to do? You know, they didn't have any technology back then, and the only way you really had to go out and have fun was hang out with your friends and things like that. Now, Verena was like a servant girl, and she was African, and she was a service girl, and she was a service girl to Josephine's family. So she would, because when Josephine threw the party, because she had thrown a party for Millie, because Millie was about to get married to Russell, and she wanted to have, like, what do you call that? an engagement party of some sort. So she threw the party for Millie, and of course Verena was in the background, and she was, serving the guests and so forth. And then at one point, they wanted Verena to join in the festivities, but her mom, Doris, was like, "No, what are you doing here? You're supposed to be serving it." And Josephine had to step in and tell her, "No, no, no, it's okay. We asked her to join us, and well, only for a little bit because she has things to do." So she looked really pretty, and Millie even gave her a beautiful dress, and she wore that. But then what happened was that Russell ended up being a little bit more like a mean guy instead of being loving and caring to Millie, and he really just wanted to have his way with her before they even got married. And Millie was like, "No, no, no, we have to, do this right," and blah blah blah. But he was like, he wasn't having it. He just wanted to have his fling and be done with it. Although when they came back, and it was, when they were talking about Russell was fighting with Millie, and Verena was in the background in the garden. She was watching everything that was happening, and then how Millie just ran past her because she was crying so hard that she didn't see Verena, in the bushes. But then she was like, okay, they were past that, and then Russell saw her because she made noise, walking on twigs or whatever, snapped and everything, and he heard something and said, "Who's out there?" And then he finally saw her, and then he accused her of being a thief because he saw that she had one of Millie's dresses on, which was very expensive in that day. And he said, "No, she wouldn't have given you that," and blah blah blah. And he goes, "Oh," and so he was dragging her by the arm, and he goes, "Oh, we're going to have a little party of our own." But and that's where it ended. But in the next few 5 chapters, they don't talk about what happened to Verena, or Verena doesn't expose anything. So anyway, in this chapter, Felicia was trying to figure out, okay, so what's going to happen? What's going to be, what am I going to get out of seeing Josephine? Because evidently, she was a struggling freelancer photographer, and she wanted to, I don't got time to be going here and there because I don't know what this woman wants, but evidently Josephine just wanted to make amends with all her friends that she knew back then. So in 15, wasn't a lot in here, not that I recall, in chapter 15. So in chapter 15, Felicia was, of course, Verena's niece. And then this one guy, Gabe, who came into the picture, was another senior lawyer who Brooke used to work for. But she ended up leaving the firm, and I guess she wanted to make her own way. And then he talks about, then it just drops. Like, she was like, this wedding that she was supposed to marry. Gabe was a senior lawyer. Brooke told him about the wedding that was off because of who she ran into. And in chapter 17, Gabe asked her about her employment with the company. He goes, "What? Why aren't you happy here?" And she's like, "No, I just want to do things, differently, or do things my way." And she ended up leaving the firm. 17. Where's my little fella? Where's my sweet Henry? Oh, so in 17, Marie, which is Brooke's mom, finally came, and Brooke's mother arrived, and also said to try not to be Superwoman. Also, that Brooke Brooke had low self-esteem. I guess she just tried to do so much, too much, and at the bottom of it all, she felt like she wasn't competent enough, and everything was going down on her, and nothing was working out. So Brooke told Marie how she had met Pete's father, or Henry's father, and it was during a summer job that she had, and that's where she met Pete, and they ended up having a fling, and they ended up separating. So her fling with Pete, she knew and her feelings for Pete never stopped. Although Pete had applied to a research grant to study elk migration patterns, and she drove him to the airport, and then 6 weeks later she ended up being pregnant, although she never told Pete about it. And so she found out that she was pregnant, and after the fling, and then of course he doesn't know about that he has a son. Um, she told her mom she was taking the case of Josephine Warwick, but needed Gabe's expertise for the law of condemnation, which I had a fixed idea what that is. So she was bringing Gabe to go see Josephine, because Josephine said, well, I want to know who this guy is, and well, I can't represent you because of the legal, because of our association with her being Marie's mom, and it would kind of like, if anything happens, they find out, then whatever you're trying to do, I won't be able to help you out with. So she told Josephine, but I know of another lawyer who can do it. And Gabe was saying, well, thanks a lot. I'm at a certain age. I really don't want to do this, but for you, I'll do it. So he went and he went to go meet with Josephine. And then some things that Josephine did reveal to Gabe, and he was like, holy cow, I can't believe we're in this. This is awesome, and it's going to be a great case. And she goes, well, tell me. And he said, no, I can't, because of certain things I can't disclose to you. But she was excited that he was excited, so that went well. And then in 18, again, most of it was picking up everybody, making sure everybody went to what was that place called? The place was called Oh, I didn't write the place what it was called. Anyway, it's like an estate, but not an estate. It was more like a place where people would. It was just so huge that they wanted to make it like a resort for people who like to camp out and things like that. But she bluff something bluff. I forgot what that was. And Josephine just didn't want to give the whole place up to the government. She goes, no, this place belongs to me, and it also belongs to other people. I'm not going to let the government just take, or the state just take over. And she was dead set against that. So I know I'm going fast here because I have to hurry up. Okay, so finally, after all that was over, because you have to remember, Marie was the granddaughter, the daughter of Millie, who was the one in 1941 that got abused by Russell. So then she goes, Mom, did you know Granny was engaged to someone else before Grandpa? And she was like, no, not that I know of. She never mentioned it. So Marie had no idea, what was going on. So yeah, so it was Millie, Ruth, and Josephine. So I did write that down. Okay, so in October 1941, she went to pick up Verena and the niece. It was time for the High Tide Club to do again. When about to enter the water. Okay, so they were getting ready, and they had to convince Verina's dad, because back then you just can't go and hang around and about, especially if you were a young lady, because town will talk and stuff like that. So Josephine, oh come on, it's us, so you know us for years, we're gonna be okay. We're just gonna go and hang out for a little while and blah blah blah. And I thought she was gonna bring her back, but she didn't end up bringing her back. I mean, they ended up staying out like late, late, late. So Josephine finally convinced, who do you call it, Marina's dad, to let her go. So they all got together, got out, got on into, what was his name? What was his name? It was Josephine's brother. Gardner's car, because when he left right after the situation with Millie and Russell, so he ended up taking off. I think he was in the military or something like that. So, but she drove his car, so they would drive his car out to Mermaid Beach. So they all went to the beach, and they were all, getting ready to skinny dip like they always do. Excuse me, I haven't even eaten. I'm burping on air. And so they were getting ready, and they did have some kind of drink. They had champagne, and I don't know what else they had. But yeah, so they all started giggling, having fun, everything like that. And they were trying to convince Millie to go into the water with them. But Millie was like, no, I don't want to go in right now. Oh, it was called the Roadster, the car. So Josephine packed up the Roadster under a cluster of trees. They ended the crushed shell path that ended at the point they dubbed Mermaid Beach. So they had to stop at a certain place before they entered the beach. So then Ruth was like, that I think Doris ended up making them like some kind of picnic basket or something, and they were all, munching down on this and that, and plates to Millie. Come on, you two. Josephine said, handing plates to Millie and Verena. This is a party, not a funeral. It's always trying to make the best of it. So they were getting ready, to jump into the water, and then all of a sudden, like again, Millie really didn't want to go in, and they were like, "No, come on, the drill. We all have to be, in our birthday suits, so to be in the water." And then it just so happens that, keep bringing this over here. Okay, so Josephine managed to pull the scarf, because they were like trying to get her to get undressed and stuff. So Josephine managed to pull the scarf free, but frozen when the moonlight revealed the ring of ugly black bruises encircled Millie's neck, and the corresponding bands of bruises on Millie's now exposed upper arms and wrists. "Oh my gosh," she whispered. Millie's lightweight skirt fell away from her waist. Just at that moment, Ruth gasped and pointed. "Joe, look!" Fingerprints in the form of bruises marred the creamy skin of their friend's upper thighs. So yeah, evidently Russell must have been really, really strong, because he literally did hurt her. The issue of the high tide club girls. Okay, now they're back. Okay, Josephine wanted to leave the island too, was another matter. So now they're back, updating. I'm pretty sure we gave. So Josephine helped Brooke could fight. In other words, Josephine and Gabe were trying to, get together and fight this thing, the condemnation. Gabe met with Josephine, who wanted to create three. So they were going to create three beneficiaries, so they can get, like half the pie after this whole thing was done with. So Ruth has a granddaughter named Lizzie. Oh, Lizzie was the freelance magazine writer, not Felicia. Felicia, I don't know what Felicia did. Okay, so Lizzie wouldn't come unless her expenses were paid. So she told Josephine, she's not going to come unless you pay her way out here. And Josephine was already at that time like really tight with money. She was like, I'm not gonna do this. Okay, fine, I'll pay her way. And then so after what had happened with I think that we went back to 1941 because they ended up getting stuck. I know I didn't go that far. They ended up getting stuck in the water, and then they had to get help to get out. So I think I stopped at, I told myself not to take the thing off, and I did. Okay, so they were talking about somebody about Trey. I don't know who Trey was, some governor. So they were just talking about legal things. Your friend Ruth has a granddaughter who lives in California. Her name is Lizzie. So again, she was telling Josephine about who she was. I think I did leave off on 21. Okay, so hi Lizzie. They introduced each other, Marie to Lizzie. Okay, I'll come. She'll pay your travel expenses and so forth. Okay, so 23. I gotta start checking all this software I'm at. So yeah, so they ended up getting stuck in the water. Gabe, the senior partner, and my own old firm, Brooks, said, hoping to move the conversation along to business. I filled him in on the legal situation. She was telling Josephine of everything, that was going on so that Gabe could help, help with the case. 150. I'm always underlining things. But that's where we're at right now. Okay, so Brooke and Marie Trapnell stood outside the baggage claim door at the Jacksonville airport. That's where they picked her up. Okay, so then that's when they got stuck in the water, and then somebody had to help them get, it was like knee deep, so they were all able to get to the island. Oh, it was an island. And let me see, Grandma was opposite Lizzie. Lizzie says she saved everything: newspapers, old letters, programs, diaries, scrapbooks. I have an entire trunk full of her scrapbook. I always thought someday I'd get a book out of that stuff. Maybe even more than one. And they asked her what kind of book. Brooke asked intrigued. Well, there's that unsolved murder on the island, of course, Lizzie said. And Brooke stared at her passenger in the rearview mirror. You don't mean Talisa? Of course I do, Lizzie said. Hasn't Josephine mentioned Russell Strickland to you? No, Brooke said. She looked over at her mother. Does that name mean anything to you? Which was Marie. Never heard of it before, Marie said. Lizzie sucked loudly on her mojito. It was a huge mystery at the time. Let's see, 1941? Yeah, I think that's right. I say it's murder, but actually nobody really knows what happened to the guy. 1 minute he was there at a big fancy party, which was that engagement party, and at Shellhaven, and the next morning he was gone. Poof, no one seen or heard from him again. And so Lizzie took a sip of her mojito again. He was from a wealthy family in Boston, according to the newspaper. He came down to tell Lisa because Josephine's family was throwing an engagement party for him and his fiancée. Who was the fiancée? Marie asked. Lizzie stared at her intently. Her name was Mildred Everhart. And I think that's where I stopped. So it was like, oh, in other words, she was like, it was your mom. So, so you can get a job. You're a smart girl, Millie. Wait, did they jump into? Oh, so they jumped back into 1941. It keeps going back and forth, back and forth. So let's see. Did I even print it? I don't think I did. Okay, so Ruth. Okay, so Ruth has the granddaughter named Lizzie. Okay, Lizzie wouldn't come unless you're not okay. So that's when they happen. You're not going to marry him. That's when Josephine, after what they have seen, what Russell had done to her, is that you're not marrying him. We won't let you. Ruth is right. I don't care what you have to do. You're not going to marry Russell Strickland, Josephine said. And then I think that's where I left off. I don't think there was more. I don't think I got to 27. Otherwise, I would have circled it. But again, let me see. Not for me, Brooks said. I shrugged. I could tell you Josephine feels genuinely affection. Oh, I did affection, but something else. Something she's obviously feels guilty about her relationship with all these women. So they're back out of 1941. So they were talking about Josephine. So something happened, evidently, and Josephine obviously has a connection or has something that she wants to make right with these women. Unfortunately, the only one that exists is Verena. Camille's mom passed away, and so did Ruth. So not for me to say, Brooks said. Okay, Felicia. Okay, so I guess they were trying to compare with Marie. What's Felicia like? Marie asked, going back towards rapidly disappear water from. Very smart and polished. She's a PhD, teaches African American studies, and prickly. Maybe she convinced Josephine had taken advantage of her auntie V her entire life, and has she? Lizzie asked. Not for me, Brooks said with a shrug. I could tell you Josephine feels genuine affection for Verena, but there's something else, something that she's obviously feels guilty about in the relationship with these women. I think that was Gabe talking with her. Okay, so I am on 28. Yeah, so I'm on 28. So that again, we don't know if Verena ever talked about what happened between Verena and Russell that night. Like, what happened? Something must have happened, but they didn't mention it. I mean, even if that night when Verena, let me take a bite of this real quick. This looks so good. It's like yelling at me to eat me. So this is the cheesecake, and they said it is really good. And it only takes an hour to get better. You know what? Oh my God, this is good. And the crust is really good too. I must be really hungry. I haven't eaten all day. tastes like almost like the Sara Lee cheesecake. Very close, like very close. But I want to try the recipe that's on the back of the crust sheet that I bought. So I can't wait for that. But anyway, going back to Verena, like after the party, even after when they went to the beach, and because this happened afterwards, after, Marie got, attacked by Russell. So what happened to Verena, and why isn't Verena saying anything? What did Russell do to Verena is the question that I'm wondering. How come, when they went to the beach and they saw all the bruises and the strangle marks on her neck and everything else, and the bruises on her thighs, why didn't Verena say, oh, well, he did that to you, well, guess what he did to me? Or she didn't want to expose it, or she didn't want to make trouble for a marriage that was about to take place, and she didn't want to be responsible for the downfall if they didn't get married. I don't know. So I'm like, what's going on with that? And then Josephine just seems to be a little bit, even though I think she was married at one point, but her husband died and she ended up being a widow. But she carried something, evidently, for years and years and years, and she's trying to make right with either the girls that she hung out with, or if they're gone, if they pass, at least with her the next of kin, in other words. So she's just trying to alleviate whatever happened back then and make things right. And more on Verena's side is more different because her family was part of ownership of that estate or that island, because they lived there, and there were I think like 3 families who had lived there, and Verena was one of them. So they felt like they were part owners of that place, because I guess they had bought a house from at that island. And then when they sold it, it's like, no, it's like you're selling our house and kicking us out, and we don't have nowhere to go. That's not fair to us. It's like, no, that's not right. So I still don't know what that condemnation thing is about. So I have to find out, I have to look it up and find out what that means. So yeah, so that's where I'm at right now. But again, I'm still trying to figure out, we're still like, what happened back then? What happened to Russell? What happened to Gardner? Did he kill Russell and then take off? I mean, and how could they not recognize who Russell was? I mean, because they're the ones that buried him in the first place. So how could they not know that it was him? I mean, all 4 of them got together, and in the beginning of the story, they won't know who he is, and they took some kind of gold watch or something. So how cannot they not know that it was Russell, or if it was our Gardner, who was Josephine's brother? Who was that guy that they buried? It couldn't have been Russell, because they would have recognized him. They would have known that it was him. It wasn't the brother, because he had taken off. He wasn't around. So who was that person they buried? So, well, I don't know. I guess, I don't know. We'll find out eventually what's going on. So anyway, thank you for joining me today. And I hope you liked I made it quick. It was really easy to make. It only took me like less than 10 minutes to make. But I still do want to make the lemon meringue pie, hopefully next week. And I still have to make the lemon muffins as well. So I hope you have liked the update on the book, and I'll try to get a little bit more better at it as I go along. As stress is concerned, again, with everything that's going around us, I mean, they're having in New York, they're protesting left and right, and I don't know what's going on over there, but I'm pretty sure it's because of what's happening overseas. And again, there's just have been so many bombings lately, and again, a lot of people are getting hurt, a lot of children, women, and it's heartbreaking. But and the most we can do, because we're all the way over here and it's happening over there, you know, the best you can do is just don't stress yourself over it. Let time and destiny, take its place, and just pray about it. That's really, really all you can do. And just believe that everything that's happening is for a reason. And if you do want to get away, just dive yourself into a book and get away from all that. You don't want to hear about this. First of all, there's nothing you can really do about it. And the best way to not stress yourself out over it, dive into something that will take you away from that. Okay, have a cup of tea, and yeah, you can keep up with the news and stuff like that, and find out how far along things are going. Hopefully, in the near future things will get better. But again, things are going to get better, and I have said this time and time again, it will get better, things will be great, but it's only going to be short-lived, and then it's going to be chaos all over again. And some of us won't be around and some of us will. So and then we still have to worry about everything that's happening with AI. And again, don't sleep on it. It's very important. Try to keep up. And I mean, I already see people using ChatGPT already. I'm listening to them talk, and they're like, you're getting that from ChatGPT. Because when you watch somebody for a long time, and then all of a sudden, their manner of speaking, their vocabulary, their language, all of a sudden changed, and it's not, the information is not coming from them. You just know it. And now it's like, he's reading off whatever ChatGPT told him. He's reading off that. You can pick it up like that. So, not that I'm against it. Heck no, I downloaded it too. So I need to jump on the bandwagon myself. But just know that people are starting to use it. And as far as the future is, who knows how things are going to be in 2030 or 2060. I'll probably be around. Hopefully, God willing, I'll still be around by the time 2040 rolls around. I'll probably be in my 90s by then, hopefully, or 85. But I know I am going to see a lot of changes. Will I ever have a Rosie in my apartment? I doubt now, but I'm pretty sure one of my sons will. Remember Rosie from the, oh my God, what is that movie called? The Jetsons. I don't know if I'll have one, but I'm pretty sure they will. Anyway, thank you for joining me. Just, relax, enjoy a cup of tea. Our summer weather is here. Enjoy the sun. Take a walk in the park. Again, God is still here in America. We all have the pleasure of hearing birds sing in the morning, grass, flowers, it's beautiful. And just be grateful and thankful for all the people in your ancestry who brought you here, okay? Be grateful for them, just like I'm grateful to my dad that he came to Chicago, and this is why I'm here now. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Dad. Okay, you can always like, subscribe, and definitely comment if you wish. And I'm going to have a hard time getting off this chair. I can't sit down for a long period of time because I'm, I know I need more like calcium in my bones, right? I need something. Anyway, thank you for joining me. We'll see you next time. on Tea Time Tuesday. Bye.